How in the hell have there not been vampires on a plane yet? Have there been vampires on a plane yet? Let's review Blood Red Sky. Let's go. Blood Red Sky stars Paris Baumeister, Carl Anton Koch, Dominique Purcell, and is directed by Peter Thorworth. What's up, guys? Time for a brand new 2021 review. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing 3 reviews. I'm recording 3 reviews in a row. But Blood Red Sky is one of those movies. I saw the poster for it. It looked like a horror movie, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was. And then I saw the trailer, and this is about vampires on a plane, which really caught my attention. What the hell? If you give me a good premise like that, then the possibilities are endless. And fortunately, this is a very well-directed film by one Peter Thorworth. I believe this is a German film, but there are some recognizable actors in here that we've seen stateside, like Dominique Purcell, Graham McTavish. I've seen Graham McTavish pop up in so many things. I remember him from like Rambo 4. Very, very good character actor. Actually, he was in Creed as well. So I guess Stallone really likes him. But he's in this movie. He's really good. And one thing I didn't notice about this until I was like midway in watching it, because Netflix puts on English dubs, I guess by default, because I noticed that the actors' mouths weren't lining up with the audio that was coming out. So I was like, oh, okay, this must be a dub, like a German dub. But some of the actors, you can tell that they're speaking English, and it's coming out just fine. It reminded me of like Giallo films and Italian horror films, because sometimes you'll see that. Sometimes you can tell that there's a dub, and then sometimes you can tell that they're actually speaking the language. But it didn't bother me at all. Usually I avoid English dubs like the plague, just because the acting is usually pretty subpar. It is a little bit of that in this, but it definitely doesn't take you out of the movie at all. And if you don't feel like doing the straining of watching subtitles, which I do usually do that anyway, then yeah, I think that the English dub for this is fine, and I've talked way too long about it already. But anyway, let me give you a quick plot synopsis. This is like a terrorist hijacking movie. This plane is hijacked by this group of terrorists, and there happens to be an ace in the hole, I guess is what I'd call it, story-wise, because you have a mother and daughter on this plane, but the mother, you can obviously tell something's off, something's wrong. And one of the terrorists gets really bloody early on in the movie, and then she starts having reactions. I'm like, oh shit, we got ourselves a vampire. This isn't like your Twilight vampires at all. No, this is 30 Days of Night type vampires. But she's the only vampire on there, but you're just knowing these terrorists have hijacked the wrong plane. And so automatically I'm thinking, oh my God, the possibilities for this movie could be really, really great. So let's start off with the story. I like it. I like how there's a backstory with our main character, who is the vampire, Nausea. We find out how she became a vampire. And so it's kind of a unique angle on the story, because this is a character that loves her son. You know, when she became a vampire, her son was just a baby. And so can you imagine that, like a vampire, and you have a human baby, and you have to raise them, and you have to fight off your urges to eat them. So automatically, story-wise, that made for something really interesting to chew on in the movie. No pun intended. So story-wise, you're going to bounce back and forth between her backstory and what's going on the plane. And one thing I do love about that is, you know how sometimes you're just like, okay, give me the current day, because I don't really need to see the backstory. I'm looking at you, Lost, the TV show. No, you're interested in everything that is going on from the past to the present, because it's nice to figure out, you know, what makes this character tick. Why is she so protective of her son? I mean, that's kind of obvious, but it's cool to see like a good guy vampire movie. They put like a twist on it. It's not one of those movies like 30 Days of Night where all the vampires are evil. No, this is a person that was a victim of circumstance. She became a vampire, but she still has, I guess, a mother's love. And she takes these serums to kind of keep her urges at bay, kind of like a drug addict. And so they're going to explore a lot of those themes throughout this movie. What happens when she can't get the serum anymore, and she's presented with this situation where her son is right there in front of her. You know, there's blood involved. You can imagine the emotion that's going to happen, and it's delivered in spades. I was definitely getting vibes from like Train to Busan, one of the most heart-wrenching father-daughter stories out there. I love when you can throw good emotion in a horror movie, and it works in this movie very well. I was touched by the relationship between the mother and the son. Very good performances too, especially by Pre Ballmeister. Because this is a physical performance. You know, she's really like contorting her body and doing all these crazy movements to really sell the performance of a vampire. You know, a completely batshit crazy vampire. And it's scary. She does a great job. Now, as far as like blood and guts, oh my God, there's tons of it. You know, and it does take a bit to really start getting into it. And I think they're very effective at building the story, building the tension, more importantly, on that plane. Because can you imagine? You're in a freaking tube in the sky. You got hijackers. You got a freaking vampire, possibly more vampires. Who knows? Because there's blood involved and all that. Those poor passengers, right? You got this one character amongst the hijackers named 8-Ball, who's a very interesting character to watch. He's pretty much just a straight up evil dickbag. And so they do some cool things with that character along the way. Also, I will say this does touch on some PC issues, but I think in a very effective way. And I guess it's a case of you can handle these social issues quite well if it fits into the story. You got this character named Fareed who is Islamic. Automatically, he's got the finger pointed at him. He's not trusted by the military who are trying to recover the hostages from this plane. And so this character is just automatically judged, and he has a rough run throughout this movie. And so that adds some tension to the movie as well. This movie is filled with great tension. But it's very well directed. Can't recommend it enough. And it's one of the better vampire movies out there, I think. So definitely giving it a purchase worthy. For sure. Netflix, good on you. Netflix just came out with like 3 Fear Street movies that were all rock solid. And now we get this. So, yeah, Netflix is stepping up their game, I guess. So anyway, in the comments, let me know your thoughts on Blood Red Sky. Looking forward to hearing them. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on all my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. And you guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.